Hey, what's up, guys? Dan the Movie Man here, and happy Star Wars Day. Today is May the 4th, 2018. We are 41 years since A New Hope. It would be 38 years since The Empire, and 35 years since the greatest film of all time, Return of the Jedi, was released. But today, to honor Star Wars Day, I'm going to be doing my top 10 favorite secondary Star Wars characters. Now, what I define this as is they may be overall crucial to Star Wars canon, but not necessarily explored too much in the film. So that's just what I mean by secondary. So like people like Lando and Dooku, they're not as higher tier as, let's say, Luke or Anakin, but they're still pretty significant for their films. I'm also counting TV characters, so I'm just, for them, it's like they're not regular cast members. They're, you know, maybe reoccurring, but definitely not a part of the main cast. So that's just how I'm defining secondary in this video, just to let you know. So let's go ahead and get on, and my number 10 is Gungi. Now, Gungi is a part of the arc in season 4 of the Clone Wars. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a while since I've watched Clone Wars. But he's a part of the Younglings arc. It's where Ahsoka and Yoda take a group of younglings to go get their crystals, and then Ahsoka's bringing them back, and they get attacked by pirates, and it's this 2 to 3 episode arc. And Gungi is one of these younglings, and he has a Wookiee. He is a Force-sensitive Wookiee, which is very, very rare, and that's why he's on this list. I mean, just to be able to see a Wookiee that uses he's Force sensitive. He uses the Force. He builds his lightsaber. His lightsaber has wooden panels on it too, which is very cool, and it speaks to the culture of Kashyyyk. And I mean, you don't get a lot from any of the younglings really, because you're only with them for a few episodes. But I don't know. It's so cool to see a Wookiee as a Force sensitive being. It's really nice and refreshing. And in Star Wars canon, that is extremely rare for a Wookiee to be Force sensitive, and it's just really cool. And I dig the name Gungi. The sad part is Gungi's probably dead after Order 66, but it was still, he was the standout character of that arc in the Clone Wars for me. My number 9 is AP5 from Star Wars Rebels, one of my favorite droids. He's just got such a bleak, sarcastic outlook on things. It's kind of like if K2SO and C3PO were one, droid. He's just so sarcastic and funny. He's a good little comedic character. There's the episode where I think it's Double Agent Droid, where he helps save the day and he gets tossed out into space, and there's all these like butterflies in space, and he's singing, and he's like, oh, it's so peaceful, it's bliss, and then the ship comes to rescue him, and he's like, oh god, no, please. And it's just funny. I like AP5. He's got a nice outlook on things, and I believe it's Steven Stanton that voices him. He does a magnificent job. I was very disappointed that he wasn't in a lot of season 4 Rebels. I think he was in one episode. I don't even think he had a line, but he was very prominent in season 3, which is nice. And I hope to see AP5 more in the future. Maybe he's not dead, so that's good. And so we'll see where things go. My number 8 is Jack Porkins. Now, Porkins is actually the reason that my Star Wars channel is called the X-Wing Pilot, because I love Star Wars, obviously, but when I was trying to come up with the name for my Star Wars channel, and I've always been infatuated with the X-Wing pilots, right? And just the fact that there's someone like me, a bigger guy, and he's an X-Wing pilot, that spoke to me. That was awesome. And so that was it. That was it. The X-Wing pilot was born, and he has maybe 2 or 3 lines. He's on screen for less than 5 minutes before he gets blown up. But man, it's just so cool seeing someone like myself in a Star Wars movie. And I've always connected with Porkins, and there's Porkins shirts and merchandise. People know who Porkins is. And I just love Porkins. There's a shirt of Porkins in the cockpit of his X-wing, and he's eating pork rinds, shoving them in his face. It's just fun stuff like that. It's funny, it's nice, it's endearing, and I just always liked Porkins, and he's always stuck with me. My number 7 is Salacious B. Crumb. The little, I wouldn't even say henchman, more just like assistant maybe to Jabba. Well, I guess I don't know. I don't really know what you call him, but he's just this little creepy creature thing, and he's just the voice, the laugh, it's just so creepy and unsettling, and that's the feeling you should get in Jabba's palaces. If you're not a part of that clique, if you're not a part of that I'm not even gonna say underworld, but a part of that world in general, that place is gonna creep you out. And Salacious B. Crumb does that, and he's just so maniacally evil. It's great. It's great. And for most of the time, we don't see him much because he's only in the Jabba's palace part of the film, which is like the opening. But we for the most part we just see him sitting in Jabba's tail laughing at people. He comes out at the end to jump around, but for the most part he's just subdued. But it's just I'll never forget Salacious Crumb. What he looks like, his voice, especially in that laugh. I'll never forget it, and that's why he's on this list. So number 6, I'm kind of cheating, but I'm not cheating. So number 6 is 2 characters, but the reason these 2 characters are both at number 6 is because they're synonymous with each other, and that is Dr. Cornelius and Ponda Baba. Now, if you don't know who those 2 are, those are the 2 guys that decided to pick a fight with Luke in the cantina. Ponda Baba ended up losing an arm for it. Also, they made an appearance in Rogue One when they bumped into Jyn Erso. But it's another thing that as a kid seeing them, they've stuck in my mind. Especially Dr. Cornelius, because he looks human, but he's got this little weird thing going on with his eye, and I always heard stories of because he's called Dr. Cornelius, I heard stories, he's like the Dr. Frankenstein of Star Wars. He takes body parts and people and like turns them into these weird creations. I was like, whoa, I want to know more about that, because that sounds cool and gruesome, and horror in Star Wars is something I've always enjoyed, whether it be Death Troopers and Red Harvest or other stuff like that. So exploring like a Dr. Frankenstein in Star Wars would be really cool. I would love to do that, even if it's just a novel. Like, it doesn't have to be a movie or anything, just a novel, but I'd like to see Dr. Cornelius and Ponda Baba, like a movie about what the stuff they do, how Dr. Cornelius gets banned from all these systems, I think it'd be a fun novel for the fans, and it's not gonna appeal to mass audiences, but diehard fans like me are gonna pick it up in a heartbeat. But Dr. Cornelius and Ponda Baba are my number 5, or my 6, I'm sorry. My number 5 is Hondo. Hondo, and I didn't know. I thought maybe he's too big of a character, but because he's appeared quite a bit in Clone Wars and Rebels, but I decided he fit the bill. Hondo, he's got a really weird outlook on life because he screwed over so many people, and he screwed over Obi-Wan on multiple occasions, but he's admitted that he considered Obi-Wan a friend, which it's kind of funny, and I wish he would have met, I wish, and I'm sure maybe he has, he has come to Tatooine at one point. I just want to see Hondo and Obi-Wan hook up again, it'd be good, not like that, but just see him interact again. But and he becomes a friend of Ezra Bridger, and he becomes much more loyal than he was in the Clone Wars. But in the Clone Wars, he's running this pirate, this whole, I don't know if you called it gang, but he's a pirate, and he runs this pirate organization, and they pillage, they steal, they kidnap, and they do all this stuff, and he's witty and unforgiving at the same time. And in Rebels they turn him into a more comedic character, but it works because he's an older guy. He's no longer the leader of this pirate organization, and it's great. And some of the stuff he says, like when he first meets Ezra and finds out Ezra lied to him, he's like, "You lied to me? I knew I liked you." And it's just stuff like that, and that's the reason I love Hondo. And his voice is great. I don't for the life of me remember who voices Hondo, so For anybody watching that knows, drop a comment. But I've always loved Hondo. Hondo's a great secondary character that they pull in for certain episodes, and I just love him. Number 4 is a very, very, very important character in Star Wars lore, and that is Mon Mothma. Mon Mothma is famous. Her famous line is, "Many Bothans died for this information." Before Rogue One, we had only seen her for like a minute in Return of the Jedi. She was supposed to be in Revenge of the Sith, but her scenes got cut. And, she's a senator. She's a diplomat, politician, who outright voices her disdain for the Empire. She ends up detesting the Empire. She leaves the Senate. She becomes an Imperial criminal, and she helps the Rebel Alliance. She builds the world after the Galactic Civil War. She helps establish the New Republic. She has very strong views about the political world and demilitarizing the New Republic and all this other stuff. And for a long time, she was kind of the head of the New Republic until she stepped down. And she's just a very, very important figure in Star Wars. Even in old legends, she was important, and I'm glad they made it when they established the new canon that they still made her a very central and important character. And they also make her a caring character. If you read, it's escaping me now. Lost Stars. Sorry, Lost Stars. There's a scene where Thane is basically he gets drunk, and this mystery woman helps him in a bed and claims him up, and just helps him out, and it's revealed to be Mon Mothma, and that's really cool, and that's something that adds to her character, that even though she's this highly regarded figure, she cares about a human being, not just human beings, because but she cares about living beings. There we go. But Mon Mothma is just an absolutely fantastic character, and she had to make the list. Number 3 is one of my favorites. I love this guy to death. I'm gonna get his pop figure one day, and that's Nien Nunb. I love Nien Nunb. Nien Nunb is fantastic. He is the co-pilot of the Millennium Falcon in the attack on the second Death Star. He co-pilots it beside Lando. And he doesn't have much to say or do. He just kind of laughs and shakes his head. But, his look is so unique. He's a Celestin, and, he's just I've always liked Nien Nunb. There's not much to really say about him, but I just always have. I'm glad he's still alive. Nien Nunb is still alive in canon. And he's still fighting the good fight, and it's just nice to see Nien Nunb. So, Nien Nunb's my number 3. My number 2, sticking in the same movie area with Return of the Jedi, is a character whose fate was not as great as Nien Nunb's, and that'd be Admiral Ackbar. Admiral Ackbar is one of the greatest military tacticians in Star Wars, if not the greatest. He leads the space battle in Return of the Jedi. He comes back to fight the good fight alongside Nien Nunb in The Force Awakens and Last Jedi. Sadly, we lost our Admiral in The Last Jedi. He did not survive. But Admiral Ackbar is a very tough, very demanding, the voice, one of the most iconic lines in Star Wars. It's a trap, And, he is absolutely just the whole look. It's a fish in space. Of course it works, And he's a Mon Calamari. He's from Mon Cala. He's explored in Clone Wars a little bit, I believe. I believe he does pop up in Clone Wars, if I'm not mistaken. And he's one of the smartest military minds in Star Wars history, and he deserves a place on this list. That being said, number 1 was very easy to pick. He's on my shirt. It's Boba Fett. Boba Fett is hands down my favorite secondary Star Wars character. From the look, the attitude, the badassery, everything about Boba Fett screams awesome. And, Boba's just, I've always wanted to explore Boba so much more than we did, because this dude tracked down Han Solo. Han Solo outsmarted the Imperial fleet and got away. And no one caught him. No one saw it. Except Boba Fett. Boba Fett, his suit, his artillery of weapons, he's got the most badass ship in the galaxy. I mean, he's just awesome. And, there's no way he's dead. There's no way Boba's dead. Boba survived the Sarlacc. We all know it. and he's just an overall awesome character, you know. And there's an episode of Clone Wars that never got produced that I wish would have, but you know they had a little bit of animation, and they showed it. It's a standoff between Boba in his new armor and Cad Bane, and they both appear to shoot each other. We don't see a blaster hit; we just hear the impacts, and then you see Boba's helmet rolling, and then that indention that's in his helmet is on there from the blaster. And so my thought process behind that was, you know, Cad Bane in the Clone Wars era was regarded as the best bounty hunter in the galaxy. So what happened there is they shot each other. Boba's helmet saved him. Cad Bane wasn't wearing a helmet. Cad Bane died, and Boba Fett killing Cad Bane was now regarded as the new best bounty hunter in the galaxy. That was my thought behind that, and I wish that would have made it to air because that's just so cool. That's a great scene. And of course, it came from the mind of Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni is a genius. I love Dave Filoni, and I would love to see that made canon somehow because that is absolutely amazing. But that being said, that is my list. I'll go over it one more time. Number 10, Gungi. Number 9, AP5. Number 8, Jack Porkins. Number 7, Salacious B. Crumb. Number 6, Dr. Cornelius and Ponda Baba. Number 5, Hondo. Number 4, Mon Mothma. Number 3, Neenub. Number 2, Admiral Akbar. And number 1, Mr. Boba Fett. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Happy Star Wars Day to all. Go watch the movies. Go hang out with friends. Go lightsaber fight. Do what you gotta do. And I'll see you guys in the next one.